you know. Ooh. Let's just get to the game already. 9 o'clock. I am running mad late. Thankfully, there's a live streamer for me today. Keystone Kickoff. And we have 0 viewers. There's a joke in there somewhere. Love you guys. Either that, or I have it on that setting where I have one person viewing it for call-ins. Oh, I have viewers now. Kevin Orsini is watching. Hey, what up, Orsini? You gonna be there tomorrow? Thad's watching. Thad, you playing tomorrow? Y'all stoked? Oh, man. I know this is called Keystone Kickoff, but like this is more like Joey drives from Maryland to PA for this game to just see what's up. Maybe I can like talk along the way. Oh man, I'm really stoked for this. This is going to be really good football today. Killer Bees, X-Dogs, 9 a.m. That game is going to be closer than I think most people think. This is me kind of repeating what I said on Blunt Talk. For those who haven't watched Blunt Talk yet, because I know it's 2 hours long and kind of just goes on sometimes, so I understand it's hard to get to it. I have that game being a very competitive and interesting game. Killer Bees are going into this game with a different intensity than they've had this season, from what I've been hearing and seeing. Right now, I'm not a believer in the Bees. I just don't believe in them. There's just too much buzz about this team. There you go. There's your bee puns, guys. Shout out Killer Bee Nation. Say turn right. Bless. Thank you. Thank you, Juppy. Ooh, alright, let's do it, Orsini. Let's do it. If I can get this audio to fully work. I'm gonna add you. This is gonna be cool. Let me try to get this right. There we go. So I have Orsini and GPS all at once. Oops,
Hey, can you hear me?
kind of been. Hey, I hear ya. Hey, bud.
So you said tomorrow. So when's Virginia Beach? Is that next weekend?
Virginia Beach is in fact next weekend, sir. It'll be in Chesapeake, Virginia, next Saturday and Sunday, the 8th and 9th. For those wondering. Are you heading down there?
I'm not able to make the trip.
Is there a possibility
down there?
Okay.
So who's playing? Sunday's just regular league play then?
Yeah, tomorrow is the final week of the regular season for anybody who is trying to get in for one more game. There's 6 teams playing tomorrow. No offense to the Warriors. We have as our final week of the Washington County Football League, 9 a.m. Newcastle, PA. For those watching, you guys have Railroaders at 10.
Railroaders.
As part of the triple header, the Railroaders have to play.
Hang on a second, I'm having trouble hearing you.
That's gonna be
No, it's definitely on my end. I just got to put a headset on.
Yeah, that's usually the key to it.
So Ruckus and Railroaders. Who else is playing?
That's going to be 10:30 a.m. Before that, Railroaders have to play the Red Knights, and then after your game, the Railroaders have to play Broadaxe in a makeup game from last. Triple header,
That
yeah.
sucks.
Yes, sir. That was the arrangement. The game was called in the second quarter. That was an interesting game, though. Ian Fisher made his debut for the Railroaders. He came out there and he looked.
Yeah, that.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's a big change.
Yeah, he can
from Railroaders.
ball for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's playoffs now in Shippensburg,
And then after
right?
that, Broadax has to start their triple header. Yep, this is it. This is their final. This is their semifinal and championship week.
Nice.
We're gonna have Killer Bees and X Dogs at 9 a.m. That'll be courtesy of Keith Giles and Try Hard Sports. That's what the plan is right now. He's their new live streamer up there. We're gonna be working together on that. As I leave Keystone for this season, this is probably the last time I'll be up there in general, unless something changes in the near future. They play on Saturdays. We play on Saturdays. Yeah. It's close for me to do county than it would be in Keystone, and but I'm really happy to come up here one final time for them and get to cover this event because I feel like this is going to be a landmark day for the Keystone Flag Football League. I really do. You have 4 really good teams in some way or another in this playoff. You have the Killer Bees, who are the defending league champions. They've had a rough year. They lost a few guys in the beginning of the season to the Immortals, which is another thing we'll talk about in a moment. For those of you who are not familiar with the Keystone Flag Football League and what's been going on all season, the Killer Bees have come into this playoff. They've redesigned their defense. Tyler Spencer is running the defense for the Killer Bees right now. And that change already made a big difference when they beat the Browns 25-0 last week after the Browns, another Keystone team, had beaten them twice this year and had beaten them in almost decisive fashion.
Wow.
But like the Browns turned around, the Bees just absolutely stung them. The Bees got them, and now they're believing in themselves. They're really hyped. This Killer Bees team is lit right now, and I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, that should be a good game then, especially Atlanta. The X-Dogs have everybody that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
And then who do the Immortals play?
Are in there as well. Longtime veteran team. The Immortals play the Ship Flip Gators, who I don't know if you remember them or not from Gettysburg, Kevin.
Yeah, I
they
saw
were
them
up there playing Mayhem.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a very loose, connected rematch of that game last year in Gettysburg. There's players from both sides still on those teams, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
See me go do strongman. Yeah, hey Moats, I'm on my way. That's what I'm doing. It's tough to do this and drive in traffic.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm mostly focused on listening, but I'm pretending you're in the passenger side with me, Kevin, on the way up here.
Yeah.
That's the best way to view it, like you're next to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, what Sean was saying, I'm actually, I've been training to do a strongman competition, and there's one in Laurel on the 15th of June at, I guess it's Waldorf Ford. They're having like a parking lot event. I'll post some details if the guys are interested. Guys can hit me up if they want to make the trip out there. But I think it's like $5 to come watch. They're doing a donation jar, I guess, and it's like I believe it's $5 per donation, and you can try to do a car death. They're going to rig up a car, probably one of the new Fords, and then have guys go in there and try to pick it up off the ground.
That's going to be interesting. What day did you say that was?
It's Saturday, June 15th at Waldorf Ford. It's the American Hustle Classic. It's put on by 301 Strong, which is a gym in White Plains, which is actually where I'm going right now. to practice some of the events. So they're doing clean and press. There's an engine carry, like a medley. It's like a K, an engine block, and something else I forget off the top of my head. Tire flips.
June 15th, no flag football that day, I believe, in the area. So y'all got nothing to do. Make the trip.
It
Sounds
should
like
be
it's
a
going
good
to be
time.
awesome,
They're having
man. Looking forward to it.
a professional,
On
I guess, World's Strongest Women. So it should be a good time in Southern Maryland. There'll be food trucks. You can do the car deadlift. There'll be things to do, at the event. So
That sounds good, man. I'm looking forward to it. June's a pretty big month from the sound of things. This is the first day already, and we have this Keystone Championship coming up. That's going to be interesting. Killer Bees X Dogs, that first game. We know what the X Dogs can do. I know what the Bees are looking like. I'm looking forward to this game personally, Kevin. Hopefully you'll be able to watch it at some point or catch it after the fact. We're going to be sharing it all over because
I'll catch it after the fact. I'm going to practice these events, and then I'll be on the road for a lot of the day. So I don't know much about the Keystone Leagues. I do know some of the guys from the Bees, obviously getting familiar with the X Dogs. I think the winner of that game is going to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that prediction.
Immortals beat the Gators. I don't
think
the X Dogs lose to the Immortals again.
I tend to differ. Like I have in that one, I do have the Immortals over the Gators. I watched that game. We had it on Blaze Day. They got torched. It was bad. The Immortals just had their way with them. The first play of the game, Patrick Crawford threw a 77-yard touchdown pass off a screen, mind you, for a score to make it 7-0. And then afterwards, I think they lost all 77 yards times about 2, just sack after sack, pick after pick. It just was an ugly one-sided game. Chip Flip did not get a first down again until midway through the fourth quarter, and it was just awful. It was a beatdown. And I feel like more of the same today in that one. And I feel like in this championship game, you're going to see a battle of titans in this league, Kevin. I guarantee you, this is a battle of titans. Immortals versus X-Dogs. Because I feel like both teams stand above the league right now, albeit the Killer Bees they're the underdog. They're the champions. They got something to say about all this.
Yeah, and they're going to come
out. They haven't lost the
swinging
crown
too.
yet. It's not over.
Yeah.
They made it to June.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. They got that championship spirit. They got guys from county who know how to win. They got guys who played flag for years up there in PA who know how to win. Come out there. They're going to come out there fighting.
Yeah, and I really think the winner of that game.
And that team is going to get the X-Dogs.
That's just my my ignorant prediction, I guess, because like I said, I don't know anything about the other teams. I know Pat Crawford because I know him from the Gettysburg area.
Oh, I know. Well, let's put it this way. The Immortals have Tesosa, Fox, Regan, Black, Moats. They got Gaskins from Program up there on the team. They're deep all over. They got Cuzzo. They got, I'm trying to remember all the names off the top of my head who's on that team. They got a full roster list on the Keystone page. I'll share later for anybody who's curious to know who's playing for today's games. But they're stacked on that team. And honestly, they beat the X-Dogs with 13 about a month ago when they played 14-7. Say Sosa managed a great game, that the defense stood up and they won the trench war in this battle. And personally, I feel like going into this championship game, while Matt Eisenberg is a man of November for the most part, in this case, we'll call it June. Either way, in the postseason, he just knows how to turn it on and play better. I feel like in this game, while he is going to be able to do that, the Immortals, who are going to play a back-to-back with Ship Flip and Bim, they're going to be warmed up, they're going to be more motivated, and I think they take it all. I got the Immortals in the championship game. By a count of probably, I'd say, I can see this being a low score or a mid-range game, not a low scoring. So maybe something like 21-17 or something like that, or 24-21. If they have Justin Fox up there, which I almost guarantee they do, that's going to be the big X factor, because they didn't have Fox and Sosa in either game. That having them in that game, that offense is going to go up
for sure.
And I feel like that's going to be the big difference in the end. So my prediction, Immortals takes it all. After what I just said, Kevin, do you feel the same, or do you feel like the X-Dogs are still too deep?
I mean, from what you're saying, like, I think I'm not going to count them out. I mean, with the roster, I mean, I know all those guys. You know, I love those guys because it was probably one of my favorite guys. I've learned a lot playing with them in tournaments and just kind of picking his brain and just reaching out to him, kind of just about non-football related things too. And he's like, if he's on the squad, like he's got the championship, that killer mentality on the football field, and you can't count them out. I think, again, not knowing anything, I think it's going to be the Immortals in the championship, and then that other game, that X-Dogs Killer Bees, is going to be a tough one too. That's going to be but I still think whoever wins, I don't know. Championship game.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. And,
God, what are you doing?
We'll get the opportunity to watch it. It's going to be some great football today. We're going to be live all over. We'll be live in Keystone County, Joey Blaze. We'll be live in National 9-Man. We're going to get some attention to Keystone. It's going to be a big day. But don't forget about tomorrow. I can't forget about tomorrow at all. When we get back to county for the final week of that regular season, it's going to be a very interesting final week. I don't know if you called it or not, Kevin. The other day we did talk playoff scenarios on Blunt Talk, and there's a possibility your Ruckus team could go from anywhere.
Yeah,
from
that's
second
crazy.
To fifth
just the whole. What is it? It's Ruckus, Broadaxe, Warriors program nights. Like this, basically that whole meat and potatoes of the league is all vying for the same spots. And that's pretty wild.
Yeah. And it's like, you look at it, Broadaxe could fall up there too. Mm-hmm. Broadaxe could be second. Broadaxe could be fifth, though. It all depends on how all three of those games go. And you take a look at those games they got, that's going to be the thing. Brunswick and Broadaxe are playing a circuit weekend. And I say that because it's 3 games. This is a circuit weekend. And their opponents are, and I know they're about in the second quarter of the game they had back in a week ago when it was 6-6. That's the score for what it's worth. 6-6, second quarter. Brunswick and Broadaxe are tied. Kevin Clancy was picked off on the opening drive by Ian Fisher, I believe. At least that's what I was remembering, or at least someone telling me to later on. I'm trying to recall myself. It was that was a wash of a day. We got annihilated up there. I was having flashbacks to last spring when the rain started because we just got absolutely smothered with it. And I tried to go live for it from my car at one point.
Yeah. I think I saw a little bit of it when you were in your car, and you couldn't see the field just because it was raining so hard. So.
Oh, yeah. There was nothing to see, and it was insane to watch because I sat there in disbelief at how bad that storm got. And the fact that we were playing the game was insane to me because all I heard was, I'm hearing in the distance thunder and stuff like that, and it was like, okay, this is getting a little dangerous, guys. Let's go home and settle it next week or the following week. And it's a shame because
Brunswick brought their A team that day. And they did it at a good time because nobody would have been seeing the game, period, because Program and Warriors bailed, and by that point it was just them, Broadaxe, and the refs. And then, so the game wasn't live, so this was an opportunity to get out there a team that could surprise people because they wouldn't have any film on it, but at the same time score a major upset on Broadaxe that nobody would have seen coming, that would have stunned the world, that there's no film of, so nobody can believe it actually happened, to put it in perspective. But it's true. The score is 6-6 in the second quarter. Ian Fisher then drove the Railroaders down the field for the first touchdown and scored. And let me tell you, he looked sharp. I know he got a lot of flack for his run on program, but he looked a lot better on Railroaders. He looked good. And I think it's that environment he's in, that team he's on, that Brunswick spirit and attitude, man. There is something about those Brunswick boys. They love their football.
They're
just
definitely
come in there and play.
They've been trending in the right direction.
Everybody
I know
from
it's kind of hard to see, but I mean, every year they're adding piece by piece, you know. And a lot of teams, you have to do that, you know. But they've been trending in the right direction for the past couple of seasons.
Yeah. And I feel like for the first time in a long time, if they keep this going, if they bring this team to the playoffs in 2 weeks, this could be a team that keeps that team together. If Brunswick could score an upset and say, which I believe they can, like they're winless, and people could say, well, look at them, they're awful. If they bring this full squad together, they have something. But we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow's a judgment day. But from the sound of it, Brian has put out there, anybody who wants to play for the Railroaders tomorrow, he's bringing the whole town. He put that ad out there. He's bringing the whole town with
Daily.
him. They're coming up there. It's going to be crazy. He put it up there this morning. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good mentality, too. You know, he's out there. He wants to win. He wants to win a football. He loves football. And you know, if you're not out there to win, like, don't come out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just going to make this weekend so interesting because all those teams need to win all of those games because it's going to be do or die, and it's going to be whether, you know, it determines who you play after Virginia Beach.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about it is you think about the aspect of all this. This is a pendulum weekend in so many ways because you look at all 6 of these games. And yes, 6 games tomorrow. We're going to be busy, guys. We're going to be busy, boys. Very busy. We got the 9 a.m. game with Knights and Railroaders, which if you go back and watch that first game, it was close. And if Brunswick can bring the team they had against Broadaxe, they're going to beat the Red Knights, in my opinion. Because if the Red Knights have a team they've had the last couple of weeks, which, you know, it happens, rosters fluctuate as the year goes on, but you never know who you bring to the game until Sunday. Let's be real here. Until I see them on my sideline, they're not there.
Right, yeah.
So you just got to hope that you can see who you got and run with it most times. But I feel like at full strength right now, Brunswick's better than the Red Knights. Because I've seen the Knights seem like they've just kind of declined to me since that first week. But, you know, sometimes it's deceiving, it's misleading. They may not have guys available that week. They may have guys who quit. We don't know. Brunswick seems like they've kept a steady roster. I know they've lost a few players, but I feel like that doesn't make much of a difference with the way they perform. I feel like they're still coming out as the same Brunswick team. They have the same Brunswick spirit. And I would say that spirit gets pretty far. That spirit reached out to Keystone. Cody Strakonski and the Railroaders up here, or not the Railroaders, the Spartans up here, his team. They haven't won a game in a year, but they still want to keep playing. They're still playing next season. I'm excited for that. Strakonski, a Brunswick graduate, who is playing for the Railroaders right now. So, yeah, we have a guy who plays for both teams.
Wait, what's his name again?
That just shows you how much Brunswick loves football.
What was his name?
What's that?
Okay.
Cody Strakonski. Played for the Spartans up here, winless this year. Railroaders winless in county. But we had an interview on Blunt Talk the other week, and so let me tell you, the Brunswick spirit runs deep. Like, they love their football. I'm not saying they're better at football, but they just love it. Like, they're just really into it as a community. And It's a shame that other high schools
Yeah.
don't embrace it and other communities don't like
Well,
they
it's
do.
different too out there. That area is growing too. So that area, in terms of
And
high school sports and their community, like it's only going to get bigger. You know, it'll be, you know, they'll be more competitive in the Frederick County's league and Frederick County area for a while once everybody, you know, because that big huge 340 down in Brunswick, you know, there's like young kids in there living. When you know, when they start getting older, you know, you're going to see a lot of change in that area. So, and it'll be changed for the better.
I see the future. It's coming, and it's gonna hit. And Brunswick's gonna. That's already. I see the changes already. That town has dramatically changed. I grew up in a small community down by the river, adjacent to Brunswick, called Sandy Hook, and I basically lived in Brunswick in that 20-year span because it was 5 minutes from me. I could just go there in a matter of moments. I was closer to Brunswick than I was Boonesboro by a full 15 minutes. Fun fact. But because you know how county boundaries work, you know how county was like that, where they're strict on their boundaries and all that stuff. We went to Boonesboro as a default because of that. We were Washington County still. But when I was growing up, Brunswick was nowhere near what it was. Even in 2010. In 2010, Brunswick was just dead. That was when most of their business was dying out completely. They lost all the business they had, like for the most part, on the outside of town.
All right. Okay, so I lost you there for a minute. My Bluetooth was telling me directions and stuff. So,
what about what?
No, that's are you what? So the Keystone games they start at 9. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost there. I do have a lot. There's supposed to be a live streamer to start it. I'm basically just broadcasting it.
Cool. And that's Try Hard Sports.
Yep, Try Hard Sports. I believe it's all one word. Shout out to Keith Giles, who plays for the Killer Bees of Try Hard Sports. He's making this happen today. And, you know, I give him props for stepping up for the league and helping them establish their own little live streaming, you know? Because that's the thing, in my opinion, live stream gets exposure. Live stream and video builds leagues. It helps grow players. A lot of guys have watched a film that we shot this year, and they have told me how much it's helped improve the game. Like, they sit there and watch it. We have that convenient booth we have up there, which is taped off currently. Yeah, it's taped off currently, but there's bleachers adjacent to it that I can just stand on and film. And they're forward facing, so I don't have to worry about trying to lean back, which is a lot harder to do than leaning forward.
But I've gone back and watched tapes after games in our league, and we're just use it as a film study session. You know, that's going in there and seeing like, okay, this is what the defense is running. This is what, you know, the offense is what the play was. Break it down. How do you? You missed a block. You hesitated. You stopped running. You know, things like that, and you bring it up at practice or before the next week. You know, we're in the team chat. You know, you're like, hey, at this time, you know, watch this or do this a little bit differently. So it definitely helps not only bring the exposure to the leagues and just what's going on around different areas, but if you're in the league and you're playing, like it does the same thing. It benefits you if you sit down and you watch the tape. Like, what is the linebacker blitz on this play, and then you just rewind it a couple of times and pick it up. So it's definitely helpful if you take the time to go through and study the tape after the games.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And the thing is, and I told people from the beginning, like, go stand at the booth and watch games because you're going to learn a lot about how people design their offenses and defenses in flag football. And that's the one thing that nobody in this league, I think, has ever had the advantage of doing on the flag level is having the perspective of being able to see a defense and an offense the same way coaches do on a high school, professional, or collegiate level, where they can sit up there and scout or even watch games or even film. All they've seen for years is a sideline perspective, and they've watched the trench wars and maybe paid attention to some of the quarterback and what they do in the backfield to try to understand their play. At least that's what I would try to do. Watch the games and interpret everything you see.
And that spot you have
at
Greencastle is
watch
a prime spot because when you get this, when you scout other teams, whether it be for whatever level it is that you're observing, you take that high point so you can see the holes open up, you can see where the line's blocking, you can see what the linebackers are doing, if the safety's coming up on third downs, things like that. You can pick up little things, and then you go into that knowing, okay, on this play, safety's going to cheat, or they like to blitz on second and 5 to 7 yards. They like so, and you can counter that.
Yeah. And truthfully, when I look at it, here's the one thing. I'm going to make this endorsement. And I'm making a bold statement in what is essentially a game day pregame show. But I feel like we should stay in NorCal if we can.
Yeah.
I know Marty Snook and Hagerstown's popping with the way everything has gone for us since the fall of 2017. Because ever since the fall of 2017, we've had these ridiculous issues with fields and all that other nonsense, which was almost unheard of until prior to that. Marty Snook and re-signing things been insane. South South had its issue, and North. Let's not tear up another bit.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad. Let me hold on. So yeah, I definitely I agree that we should just stay there. The issues that we were running into in Washington County, I feel a lot of them were self-inflicted. And I don't know. The field at Greencastle is beautiful. The fact that they've got that turf field is fantastic. The fact that they've got a practice field that is equally as nice as their game field is unreal. The only field like that in our area is North Hodge. No one's letting us play on North Hodge field.
Oh, would it be so nice if we were able to get access to North Hodge?
There's no shade.
Field? I mean, you and I played on that field, Kevin, back in 2016 for the Alumni Bowl, the first one. You and I played in that one together, right? Okay. I was trying to remember. We both played on that field, and it was cool. It was nice to get that feel for it, and guys like turf a lot. And honestly, we've had the benefit of being able to play in the rain for once without broken legs and torn ACLs. Knock on wood where I can find it. Please find me some wood to knock on. Because I'd rather not see any of that again. I saw way too much of that at South High. I saw way too much of it. Poor Tyler Bucklew when he broke his leg last year against you guys. Same for and that's the thing. And I actually saw Buck. Buck did play a few weeks ago. He was playing for the Railroad.
Broadax, I saw him, and I was like, you're healed up already. Like, that's fantastic. So it was good to see him come back out, you know, and not try to be like, you know, not
Tough
be
boy,
too
man.
reserved about the injury and wanting to go out there and test himself. And he can ball too. Like, I don't understand. Like, people might not realize that, but like, I don't know. I never played against him in high school or anything, or any other level.
He's
But
deceiving.
he just goes out there and he just wants to. He's a smash mouth kind of guy. Like, just give him the ball and he's going to run forward and he's get out of his way.
Oh, dude, for real. Tyler Bucklew is an underrated free agent out there. If anybody's looking for a guy to sign, he can go. He can block. He can hit. He's the guy you line up to go, and he can catch the ball too. He can catch the ball in the backfield, for real. That is a guy out there. He may look like he's in his 40s, but he's only about
like
22,
the old school fullback,
I believe.
You know, he just does a little bit of everything and does it all well enough to help his team win.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys who he can create a mismatch.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
But getting to Keystone shortly. It's actually should be starting about now. Try Hard Sports should be having it. So I'm going to cut off and sign off because at this point, I don't want to interfere with anything they're doing. So for Kevin Orsini, I'm Joey Blaze. Thank you for tuning in to what I'm going to rename later Blood Talk Game Day because I kind of went all over the place with this one. Thank you for tuning in and look up Try Hard Sports.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a follow.
Courtesy of Keith Giles and the Killer Bees. They will have the Keystone Flag Football League playoffs starting right about now. Have a good day and enjoy some wonderful flag football here from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania.